far in each individual match, it's just closing those games out has really caused some big issues.
You know, I really struggled to listen because I just realized that the support staff for Song on DRX, their names read out like a bounty hunter board.
What was that? I wasn't looking.
Alive, frozen, catch. It's instructions.
Yeah.
Actually fantastic.
Like in Star Wars for Han Solo.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Just get him in the carbonite, okay? You have to make sure you catch him. We need him alive. Okay.
Now all the conditions.
I don't know why that came into my brain. Okay, here we are into the draft for game number 1. Aurora and the Wukong taken away. Wukong really has skyrocketed to priority 1 as far as the junglers are concerned, when I guess Pantheon is banned away every single game. See what the DRX second ban is going to be. One of the good things here for DNF is the fact that they do have the blue side. It might give them a little bit of control.
Yep, do see the Vi coming in as a ban, so a lot of jungle focus already. Often it's been a lot of like, I mean, Pantheon's been like a hardcore ban on the red side, just kind of fixed there. Varus also very often banned. We'll see if that gets that through. Sometimes has been. The Taliyah and Azir sometimes traded, sometimes one of them banned, sometimes both banned. But we see the Gwen taken away by the DM Freecs away from Rich.
And it probably should be the PVV that we were talking about before, you know, the Pantheon by Varus. It's generally what we see. I think giving the Varus away would be silly, so they are just going to take it. So Azir, Taliyah, all of these sorts of things up and available, but the Rumble is the consideration, and we'll be locked in.
Yep, priority pick for Dudu. You know, often does well into the Gwen, but especially with the Aurora taking off the card. There is the Galio as an option who does well into it, but otherwise I feel like pretty happy to take that matchup. We've seen a lot of impact from Rumble so far.
Yep.
Even on this patch, it does give Yahoo choice of what he wants in the mid lane matchup, and we've often seen Taliyah favored into the Azir, so that will be picked up. Xin Zhao coming through as well, which I think with the 3 junglers taking off the cards, he is definitely in a good spot. Makes me think the DM Freecs just take, I was going to say take...
We're doing it again!
But it looks like we might just go for that
Nocturne Oriana.
Nocturne, and...
If at first you don't succeed, just try it again.
I mean, I'm going to be real. They were really good at this.
Actually, yeah, no, if at first you do succeed, but accidentally get an L, try it again.
Yeah, until they win, they were really good at this. Now, something I will say is that ensuring Teddy has a safe pick is going to be important. But they're opting instead to prioritize a pick for Rich here.
I actually like this. I think Rich had a really tough time in their first match.
My only concern with taking an Ornn in this situation is that a lot of the scenarios we saw into the Nocturne Oriana was you immediately delete a carry. And now going with the Ornn as well, you're limiting how many carries you have. You're going to have the Taliyah, you're going to have, you know, presumably Teddy's going to be on a carry, and you're allowing them to ban away what Teddy is on. It's like if you start a fight and let's say Teddy's pick gets deleted, you now have your Taliyah has to do so much work because the Ornn isn't really going to have the damage to carry through. So I'm a little bit concerned about them opting to prioritize Rich's pick instead, and unsurprisingly, DM Freecs immediately removed the Xayah. They did this last time they picked the Nocturne Oriana, so limiting Teddy's defensive tools here. We do see the Nico taken away, which I think Nocturne Nico is a hellish combo to play against, so it makes complete sense there.
Yep. I think maybe getting rid of the Jhin might be the next option.
I think Rakan syncs so well with the Nocturne. I think just these engage supports who can follow up.
No, I was talking on DNF's side, just like things that Teddy can play, but you're exactly right. The Rakan's certainly a brilliant option.
Yeah, I mean,
even into Taliyah, which is hilarious.
They end up getting rid of the Alistar. Obviously pretty good at once Nocturne arrives, you can knock him away, stop him from getting the fear. Doesn't really stop the combo though. I do think it's not the most fun, but you can play Senna and you can pop the Shroud when Nocturne ults, and then he can't actually target you.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And play at a distance, but it is a little risky because you are still in a mobile pick. Lucian does have the ability, is quite short range though. And if the combo is timed correctly, you shouldn't be able to outplay it.
Oh my god. I thought they were just going to do it again. Yunara is not going to be available, as you can see, banned in the center of the screen. Berserker just messing with us a little bit.
Yeah, looking like we might get a return to traditional picks in the bot lane, you know, with the...
Oh my god, it's the same thing. So last time around it was Gwen instead of the Rumble, but otherwise this is their exact same Game 1 draft from their last match. And they got up to a 3,000 gold lead at 25 minutes, guys, and then cut the video. That exact same thing happened the following game. and then they lost.
Do we just get a Nami coming out here?
I hope not. I think it's probably... Is it not Braum? I guess Braum into this comp probably doesn't feel great.
Yeah, the Nautilus feels... I mean, it gives you an option into the Zeri, but I don't think this is a great response from DRX into what Freecs have prepared, you know? You have 2 shorter range carries, and once one of those... So assuming Freecs do the combo correctly, which we know they are very capable of doing.
Yes.
You should eliminate either the Lucian or the Talia pretty effectively. And then you're kind of limping through the rest of the team fight with one of those carries gone. You have a tank support, you have a tank top laner, you have a Xin Zhao, and you have 1 carry left, and you're playing against a Zeri, Lulu, and you know the rest of the composition for Freecs. I feel like team fights, like if DRX don't get a massive lead, I feel like team fights could be really hard.
That's if Freecs manage to get all their ducks in a row, right? Because if you start bleeding members, this is a very combo-based composition, right? And so without one of those tools and someone protecting the Zeri, maybe they just die. Which is kind of what we saw when the game got turned around on them.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. What I will say is that very much this is Freecs, like, you can never count them out.
Yeah.
No matter, like...
Yeah. They can always lose a game.
Yeah, they can always
no matter
lose
what.
a game.
Never give up on them, guys.
I think they've given themselves the tools. We know they can play this combination as comp, right?
Yep.
We know they're good in the early mid-game, and if they get ahead in the early mid-game, they should be great. But is DNF, so I am still a little bit worried.
I am too, but I'm ready to have a really good time. Let's get onto the rift for game 1. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, on the Rift for game number 1. You can see already we have a little bit of a roaming Nautilus situation and a bot lane on, which I'm not sure about. But I am kind of intrigued and excited about.
Yep. I do like them looking for an early advantage. I will say the area where DRX has an edge is pre-6 when Pioshik is obviously on a Nocturne. He's not going to be able to do very much.
Yep.
You do have the Lucian Nautilus with Ignite in the bot lane. You have a Talia as well, who can sometimes get some melee momentum and move around, although Orianna is good at achieving prio. But if they get something going before level 6, I think that's where DRX can maybe get this game going in their favor. So looking for an angle to maybe invade on the bot side or just catch out someone who's in a bad position, I think that's a good play, but they don't really find anything yet. And I think for DNF, getting information on Sponge early, just tracking with Xin Zhao, the onus isn't on them. They don't really need to make anything happen before Nocturne has that ultimate available.
Yeah, it feels like just information is kind of all they really want.
Yep.
Avoid any catastrophes, stop the disasters. And I think Sponge is going to have a big task on his shoulders. His hook is going to come on forward here from Andil, up against his former teammates, which is kind of cute, as did spend a long time on the Quandong Freecs before they did change to DNF. So we'll see whether he can use some of that inside information, even though the coaching staff has changed to their benefit. But so far, it's just the shove being collected here. Level 2 gained by Teddy and Andal. Hook going to connect on the Berserker. Actually, a fair bit of damage here, even after... Oh my god! Yeah, the barrier was necessary, because otherwise he was dead.
I think Life and Berserker honestly misplayed that level 1 and put a bit too much focus on harassing Teddy and Andal, well, particularly Andal, and let Teddy and Andal take the push. You know, Andal saved the stacks on his support item and was able to execute some minions. But I think if they'd focused on the minions themselves, they should have been able to actually get the level 2 in time. And as a result, they end up falling behind a little bit. Berserker doesn't get level 2. They have to back off on the wave. Heavy trade comes in. And it's good advantage gain for DRX there.
That's huge. Losing 3 melees and a caster minion at least of experience, probably 2 casters. That is not great news here. Staying even on levels would have been pretty nice. As Andal's going to make his way in, look for a bit of an opportunity towards Bulldog. And he is getting around the map here. Andal really wanting to pick up a first victory here for DRX as well. Pretty unhappy with how things went against the Bros a couple of days ago.
Yep, good start as well. Finding an opportunity to move in here. And also, you know, he picked up some XP for mid, so he doesn't actually need to go down to bot immediately. He can let Teddy catch some experience himself and hit level 3. And then if they're both level 3 on Berserker's level 2, they're in a great spot.
A little shove here onto Bulldog, but The damage numbers for Talia at this stage of the game, not exactly massive, but his CS numbers, my god, actually huge. As Dudu just having a good time in the laning phase. Sponge is going to find Life here, audaciously charges, picks up the knock-up. Life is going to be able to make it underneath the turret. Still, DRX have so much control. Look at this wave.
Yes, in such a bad spot.
Oh, this is doomed.
And it's good from Life to hold the flash there, but still, you're banning another combat summoner in this situation. Ignite is coming up from Andal pretty soon. Wave's in a bad spot. Feel a lot of pressure. They do at least have the vision. He got the ward down in the brush, so they do feel a bit more comfortable pushing the wave in this situation, but it's still scary, and Andal's threatening.
He is looking for that hook angle. As we can see, there's no zins out this time as he gets the flash out of Life. He's collecting summoner spells here on this bottom side. Does have to trade his own for it, but look at that. Look at that Hex flash. That'll be back up a whole bunch sooner than the regular slow flash.
Yeah, Ignite up very soon as well, so he's positioning here with the Hex flash. If he finds an angle, the Hex flash over that wall and threaten, they can just look for an all-in.
See whether they can actually go for it here as Life still pushing forward. They do want to be able to get this crash. Likely that Teddy and Andal can hold this if they'd like to, but they do not decide to go for it as Yahoo down to very low mana, but Bulldog has even less. They're just autoing one another at this stage of the game. Dragon going to spawn. Going to be a Hex deck to start things up as Rich having to get out of the way of Dudu. Not too much to report there as far as the top side, outside of the fact that the Rumble is winning in lane.
Yeah, has a bit of a CS advantage. Not too much of a surprise. Ultimately, I think how Dudu wants the lane to go. But I think, you know, it's been an okay start for DRX on the bot side. We saw Andal doing a good job, but the thing is, barrier's back up now for Berserker. The CS lead we saw Teddy have has kind of been closed.
Yeah.
He did manage to get that call in, so he's stacking that up. But I think ultimately things have kind of stabilized a decent amount, and Pioshik's not too far away from his ult. That being said, if Sponge finds this gank, this could really break the game open. But you see, he's trying to swoop the vision out. This is going to give away his position.
Yeah, you can see Pioshik also down here. And the Ornhorn is actually going to ring out here as there's the flash out from Dudu. And Rich says that'll do. Collects the flash, moves on. Equalizer is still there for Dudu though. And Hook going to connect here at max range against Life. A lot of damage. Piercing Light does come down, but not going to be killing the Lulu just yet. Yeah,
I'm not sure, honestly, Dudu had the flash in that situation because he knew the enemy jungle was down bot. He had vision of Yehu in mid, and Rich had no mana. So I actually don't think he would have died there, even if the ult did connect. I think he had enough HP to just walk it off, but goes for the safe play and flashes out of that one. Doesn't want to die in this situation. Now, Rich is low, but is it diveable? Pioshik's so close to having his ult, it's not quite there.
Yeah, he really does want level 6, and then he can just come on over and press R, and then maybe Rich dies, especially without that ultimate available.
Look at the timing. Teddy and Andal are coming on up, so I think the window has passed.
Yeah, and maybe that's something that Pioshik was aware of, realized he didn't have time, so opportunistically came up to see whether maybe he could try and cheat one even before level 6. It wasn't actually the case, and it is kind of funny thinking about Nocturne trying to gank before level 6. When it does work, it feels like you're cheating.
He just dropped the Ignite on him.
The mana Ignite?
Yeah. Not going to slow him down too much, and Dudu just have teleport and just use the bot, so he can match that to pick up the wave.
Oh, it's actually going to be a weird game as well, because no one's taken Spellbook. So all the summoner spells actually have real cooldowns and stuff.
Yeah.
Not used to that. It's normally at least 4 of them per game.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in here, not sure. I think it's just one of the things with the champions being played. We did see it get a little bit of a nerf on this patch to the smite, but it's not really made that much of a difference. Still seeing it played a ton.
Yeah.
But does make it easier for the casters when we're setting up for big objectives.
Exactly.
Don't have to worry about those extra smites coming in.
It's very handy. Although it is funny when Rakan gets a smite. Although I have seen Rakan steal Baron with a Gleaming Quill before.
Yep.
That happened in pro play. That was a thing that existed. It's all right. There's the combo. Flash does come out, but it's not going to really do anything here, and that is a very dead Talia. First blood goes over to Pioshik. Man, the combo doing exactly what it says on the tin. DNF off to a great start as Sponge trying to taxi out with these grubs. Should be able to do so as Life's coming over. Andal there as well. Teddy throws out the culling just to say no, 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 no. No aggression from you guys. And Pioshik will be able to secure the first grub. We'll see how many more of them he can get, but control of the topside wave is there for Teddy and Andal, so it should be that DRX can grab this.
Yeah, good setup though from Bulldog and Pioshik. First ult, first kill, you get the ultimate hunter stack. And again, showing they know exactly how to pull off this combo. The fact that Yahoo flashes and still goes down just shows how limited counterplay you have into that combo when it is executed well and you don't have that option. Yep. Obviously, Zhonya's later on will give you that safety net, but for now, Yahoo is just going to suffer.
And we've seen this before, you know, Talia's just getting kind of bullied, and it is happening once again here. It's going to be even easier next time with that flash, like you say. Was burnt. Bulldog holds on to his. Pioshik never needed to use his. And so Yahoo's just going to be a sitting duck in that mid lane. Rook going to connect once again. And Life going to stand his ground this time around. Looks like not too much more going to occur, as another horn has been blown here as the equalizer goes down. Yahoo's just going to drive into this bottom lane and try and feel a little bit better about the state of the game by killing the Rumble. Almost dies himself, but will be successfully able to do that. No teleport available, will lose a plate here in mid lane, but on the board a DRX.
Yeah, good setup there. This time has the backup of his jungle and mid, although Sponge wasn't really in range. But Yahoo comes over the wall. Easy setup. Does show how scary this Rumble is, though, even this early on.
Yeah.
Nearly able to take out the Talia. And you see here, yeah, even with the flash, combo still ends up connecting. Talia still goes down. And just an easy pickup there. Voodoo in this situation. Didn't have that flash from earlier, and actually did see an all-in bot. Still an ult available for Andal. Culling was burned, traded for the wild growth. There is still a heal available for Life, but they are going to back away. Yeah. Trading. I will say now, Pioshik's ult is back available. He now has a Hex Plate. He has that one ultimate hunter stack. We saw that in the last game, where the cooldown is just reduced by so much off this spike, where you can just start spamming it, really. And, you know, we talk a lot about how this build isn't one we're a big fan of, because in pro play, how often are you, like, spamming the ult? You know, it's the Rise Group build, right?
Absolutely.
It works. You just pop it constantly. And I really want to see that from Pioshik in this game. We'll see what happened. Yeah, it was just a dredge line into the ult. Yeah. And honestly, considering Life only used the wild growth, I think that went pretty well.
Well, it's not too bad, although he was sort of forced out of lane. Same thing to be said for Berserker here, as the Untiles are now completed. He's going to be heading towards the mid lane as we approach the mid game.
I think honestly, state of the game though, DNF pretty happy. Little bit of a lead. They are down in terms of dragons. There's that second one coming up for 50 seconds, but you know, with how I feel about their compositions going into team fights, I think if DNF are even, or in this case slightly ahead, they're golden.
Well, right now, Sponge is hanging out, seeing whether he can take this dragon or not. Looks like it is something that they're likely to be able to get, as DNF don't look too interested in it. Teddy going to be roaming on over to help take down this crab, and they will at least secure that for now. Sponge not going to be starting it just yet, though. Ward in the back of the pit available here for DNF.
Yeah, it's good vision setup in the area, which is important for DRX. I think just limiting ways for DNF to get in. And also, Yahoo's flash isn't quite available yet, so I feel like if DNF have target access on him, they will just try and explode him. And if they can stop that easy access from coming in, it's important. But honestly though, if you look at item spikes coming through, you know, first item's complete for Pioshik Bulldog. Not done for Sponge and Yahoo right now, so I don't even feel like DRX are in that strong of a position right now necessarily to take this fight.
Not feeling too good about it. Sponge is now looking for a little bit of a back. We'll see whether he does get that Sundered Sky, and he does.
It's such a big spike, so I think them waiting for that to be finished before starting this up is a good call, but it sacrifices so much control over the area, and that is the cost of waiting for the item.
There's a lot of vision down here now for DNF, but there's one little ward in the front door. And of course, the Rift Scuttler is going to be unclearable. Now it's going to be a bit of a team fight as the orb is over here. Teleport to come in as Berserker already takes a full culling to the face. Knockup comes on through there though from the depth charge, and down goes the Orianna. Equalizer comes in as well. They're walking down the red carpet, but I think this is just because they're famous, as DRX are getting another knockup onto Life. He's going to go down. It's a triple for Teddy, and that was a disaster for DNF.
DRX so decisive with starting the fight, able to catch on a Bulldog, And this is kind of what we saw in the last match DNF played this composition. It happened way later. But when they're not the ones starting the fight, when it's the other side kicking things off, that Orianna Nocturne combo doesn't feel as inspiring. You see how it kicks off here. Andal is the one leading the charge. Finds this dredge line onto Bulldog.
But look at Berserk, he takes a full culling to the face.
Takes so much damage here. And Bulldog just gets focused down. They don't really get to make use of the combo. The Lucian's so strong at this point. Berserk is never really in the fight. And it's just cleanup time for DRX. Sponge with a Sundered Sky feels so confident. And now 2 dragons in favor of DRX and a sizable lead. They're feeling great.
They are.
By their current position.
It's a Cloud Soul as well. And so that's always going to make you feel good. Especially when you want to be repositioning, making sure that you can stick to your targets. Xin Zhao feeling very happy about something like that. Dudu and Rich facing off, and look at this, like, yeah, Rich is feeling a whole lot better here in this lane. He's got his Rooker done, no worries at all. DNF gonna need to find another one of these combos, something else that can help things out, or maybe this is part of the strategy, Ox. Because what happened last time at around 25 minutes? They had, what, a 3,000 gold lead with this composition? Seems like a gold lead is a problem. And they've solved that because they do not have a gold lead anymore.
They definitely don't have that. So, you know, we can't have the exact same trajectory as the last time they played this comp. But, yeah, I'm not sure it's the greatest strat.
Yeah. That's my, some napkin math, guys.
Teddy now as well finished Navori off that last fight. Got a huge influx of gold.
Oh my god, it's one entire item ahead.
Yeah, he is really dangerous.
Okay, well, they're not going to be fighting for this Herald. I just don't think that's going to happen. Sponge going to be able to poke Shelly in the eye. They will be able to lock this one down. Information is given over. That information, there's nothing that they can really do about it. Dudu going to be down here towards the bottom side of the map. Might spell a fight here as DRX are all grouped up. And DNF will just back away. And not going to be able to grab this turret.
I think now you're in such a scary position because if you go for the engage and you don't kill Teddy, he's just going to decimate your team.
Yeah, he's so scary.
He's just going to clean up. And you kind of want to go for an engage so you can force like his flash so that the next time there's a big fight, like in 2 minutes or not 2.5 minutes, there's that Cloud Soul point. You would love to burn Teddy's flash before that, but I'm just very cautious about the fact that if you ult in, how are you supposed to burn his flash without taking such a massive blow in return?
That's a really good point. I'll tell you what though, I'm just getting distracted because it's just nice seeing Teddy playing well.
Yep.
He had a rough time when he was back here like, what, 90 days ago or something like that. It was a really long time since we have seen Teddy. Took a big break and started off the series really well against Bro, and here in this game on the Lucian, looking fantastic as well. We'll see whether that does continue, as of course they did lose the remaining 2 games of that Bro series. Gonna have to keep his mind in it here in this one. And Sponge also having a pretty good game, but it was all just that one team fight really that DRX have leveraged to get this lead. We'll see where Shelly's gonna go down, how DRX can keep up the pressure to make sure that they don't just get comboed to death. Because if they do sort of, you know, lose vigilance in this game, they can just all of a sudden have all of their champions missing and things can go wrong if one of these combos does land well.
Yeah, there's also danger if someone does overstep, if someone's in the wrong position, there is a very quick ability for DNF to punish. Speaking of punish,
yeah, they're going to look for it here as Pioshik just presses Spell Shield, and I'd also emote like that too.
Yeah.
That's a pretty powerful button.
A little bit of an ambitious one there.
Rich just likes pressing R, is what I've noticed. He's got a lot of value out of it. So does Yehu. And Bulldog doesn't like pressing Flash, but he may have to, and he does. Handle moves over and says, buddy, you're flashing, okay?
Yeah, it looked like he nearly was on the other side of the wall initially, but after you're trapped on that side, you're going to have to flash there. Good Wolf, Yehu will be in the Orianna flash. And remember, at that previous Dragon fight, the first target taken down was that Orianna, so maybe going to look to do that again. Spawning in 30 seconds, and we see DRX once again setting up really good control of vision in the area.
Well, here it is, combo one more time as there is the flash out from Yehu. Does get the shield back though from his Seraphs that just transformed Don't know whether it was in time though, as the flash does go forward. Bulldog, remember, doesn't have his flash as prepared earlier. The culling comes in. Sponge going to be able to lock that one down. It's Pureshik doing some alcove gaming, and they do have an equalizer there. But Andal with a massive knock-up onto 3 people. It managed to curve, hits a max-range hook. At the same time, Sponge was alive for so long, but Berserker is as well. That's another kill coming on through here for Teddy, as Rich does go down. Life and Berserker will be able to take control of this one though, and that is a much better fight for DNF.
Yeah, beautiful cleanup coming through. The wild growth, I think, was so significant there for keeping just the fight going for a little bit longer. Teddy was doing so much damage, but not able to find the follow-through. And I think here, Yehu, it might just be better to just eat the ult and then flash, because he keeps flashing before the ult hits. You're still going to get hit by it, and then you just end up in a terrible spot. Here, though, Bulldog has no flash. He gets focused down. But the wild growth that comes through buys so much time here. And again, Teddy gets CC'd up, has to flash away, gets polymorphed as well. It means he's not able to cut through Pureshik so quickly, and Berserker pops the ult, starts to get some good value in. Teddy comes in close, passes back up, and now another fight coming through.
Yep, and Pureshik managed to get on top of Teddy this time around. That is the priority target. He may go down for it, though, as Yahoo getting some good volleys off. Andal will be taken out by the extendo beam of Berserker, though, so a 2-for-1 trade feels real good. And DNF back on the horse.
And this is why this composition's so powerful, this ability to punish. You know, this Fed carry, this Lucian seemed like it'd be such a problem. They're just dealing with it, just ult him. It's that simple. They don't have the jungler though, so they can't really start the dragon, but they have numbers advantage, which will keep DRX away. One timer is going to be coming up soon. I will say though, look at the ult timer on Pureshik. It's already half the cooldown is gone.
Yeah. It's absurd. Well, there's a polymorph. Still managing to get the ram out here is Yahoo. Looking for the angle onto Berserker. Rich trying to get there, and Berserker is just not under any threat at all. Rift Herald does go down. Shelly going to start the party in that mid lane. Wasn't really too many options though as far as follow-up, and Rich just really is obsessed with putting that R button on cooldown.
Yeah. Doesn't mean they get control of the area though. They have to respond to the Rift Herald. Dragon's being started up. The Pureshik, and look at the timers on the Orianna and the Nocturnal.
Yeah.
2 seconds, both of them.
Perfectly synced. They can now press that button again. Let's see when Pureshik decides to go in. There's the shockwave, connects onto one. Knockup is decent as well from the wild growth, as the culling this time is going to cut through them. Teddy's at full health, but I don't know whether the fight has much left in it as the wall comes down. Andal in a little bit of an awkward position. Pureshik is kind of running for the hills. Yahoo just dies to basically the wolves. What was quite going on there? Life is also dead though, which is ironic and sad here for DNF. And that is sole point also. No, is it? Yes. Yes? No. For DRX,
yeah,
it is.
Yeah, it is. I think just a little bit too deep on not the highest priority target. So this was good. You know, Teddy steps up a little bit too far. That combo is just devastating. Ends up going down, especially the fact that he didn't have flash there. And yeah, Pureshik is traded, but Berserker just cleans a Vandal. But here, they commit on a Yahoo. And I think this ends up being a mistake, because there's a lot of coverage there with the tanks in the way. And the Taliyah just isn't that much of a threat right now. It means Teddy's completely unchecked. And Berserker and Bulldog are... You know, Berserker's trying to push up here, but then Teddy threatens him later. Now, yeah, out of cancel dodge.
So they just decide that they want to take that, and that is because the Nocturne was dead alongside the Lulu. So they just walk over and take it. DNF, not really much of a way of doing anything, and Dudu didn't have Equalizer or anything like that. That to try and start a fight. Maybe they're going to start one right now, as Dudu is just dead to start this one off. The Ram gets the double knock-up onto Life and Berserker. And there is the Shockwave to connect onto 2. They're still going to go for it here as Sponge dives in. The Polymorph is great, though, out of Life. And that's going to be able to take him down. Yahoo, the only damage left alive. And DRX didn't quite need to do that, but neither did DNF. And they're the ones that are going to capitalize this time. Rich and Yahoo still trying to stand their ground here, and they're doing a great job. Throwing a bunch of rocks around. There's the wild growth to come on through. Another decent polymorph here, and Yahoo does go down. Rich, no more blue stuff left available. And so he is just going to back away. So they lose the Archon, they lose the Dragon, but they take a turret and they win a fight.
DNF showing the team fighting prowess of the composition, and Berserker starting to get so fed. Now has a gold lead over Teddy. This looks like what DRX think is a good fight. They managed to blow up the Rumble pretty quickly. But again, this Nocturne Orianna combo into your short-range Lucian. Teddy steps up, just gets deleted basically. They can't peel the Nocturne in time, he just finishes him off. and then they try and jump onto the Zeri, but there's so much protection coming in, and without that Lucian, you know, this is a composition where you only have 2 carries, you lose one of them, especially the one who's more fed. The Taliyah just can't do enough. You don't have the follow through, and it gives Zeri so much free reign.
Yeah.
And now we have DRX, they had the Atacam buff. They are 1 away from Soul, but the goal leader is in favor of DNF, and the team fighting is so strong, this game feels like it could be anyone's.
Certainly good, and it's the Rise group, baby. That's, I mean, no game is ever decided. As a teleport in from Rich is weird, but it's not really going to result in anything. Baron will be up in 1 minute's time. And the Soul, something to fight for in 1.5. Sponge, starting to get some of these ornaments to come in. So that's 2 ornaments now already put together. The Sundered Universe.
Yeah, gave it to Sponge, interestingly enough.
Yeah, Rich has made some choices in this game.
Yeah, I personally would have given it to Teddy, but that's just me. I mean, Sundered
Maybe
Sky
they want
is
to wait
strong.
for like Infinity +1 edge.
That might be it. You know, might want to specifically wait for the right item to get the best stats. Some items you definitely get better stats than others. Even though they've now made it so they're all roughly same gold value, some items do have better stats than others, so maybe that's the call. Berserker is super close to having the Infinity Edge. That is a massive spike. If they can get that finished before that Dragon in a minute, it would be a massive boon.
Well, Rich has a couple of items now completed for himself. That's the shortest little Searing Charge I've seen in my life. The Baron is going to pop up. Let's see whether DRX have a plan for how to navigate these team fights, because it is difficult when this combo is so hard to avoid.
Oh, that looks like an Infinity Edge back, if I've ever seen one from Berserker.
And yeah, it's most of the recipe.
It's so difficult, I feel like, to play against. You know, we have the Hex Drinker for Teddy, but it's not really doing enough at this point. It's kind of just delayed some of his damage, so he's now, you know, he's about even in gold to Berserker, but in terms of the relevant items, he's lacking that Infinity Edge in comparison. And the thing is, even if they don't kill Teddy, even if they don't immediately explode him, if you get him low enough that he can't team fight as a short-range carry, that's enough for Berserker just to run rampant.
Yeah.
And now they're pushing and aggressively getting control.
Well, the Essence Reaver is what's going to get upgraded here by Rich.
Well, I guess they just what we
did,
said earlier isn't relevant.
Yeah, they just wanted to press the button on whoever. And you know what? It's better than not upgrading anything. As now it's a face-off in the river. Yahoo just checking the angles. Dudu on a flank, looking pretty good. Does land the Harpoon here as Yahoo taking a fair bit of damage. And now the Ornhorn to come in. They do just split them apart. The wall does come down as Sponge gets in here. It is Soul that's on the line as the Shockwave is a drive-by. As Pureshik gets into that back line, it is going to be the Soul secured here by DRX. And the fight is entirely split. This is absolute insanity as Teddy goes into melee range with Dudu, and it kind of works out, I guess, but now he's by himself. On the other side of the fight, it is a catastrophe. And so someone gonna have to try and kill him. They need someone to walk up and actually fight Teddy, which is what they're struggling with right now as the polymorph is going to wear off. Teddy now just trying to take the fight to them, and Berserker will be able to do it here. They wait for the barrier, and down he goes. Cleanly played in the end there, as DRX do manage to secure the Soul, but they'll trade that for all of their lives.
Yeah, considering the situation was the combo didn't go up correctly, you know, the ult was too far away, the ult, like, it activated before he could reach Teddy. We'll see what happens. So, Pureshik ends up going for Teddy, but because he's so far away, the ult actually goes off way before he reaches him, like in the middle, as a drive-by, and despite that, they still win the fight because Teddy gets feared. We see Yahoo just gets deleted by Dudu. Everyone gets chunked out and Berserker's running people down. And Teddy, he's trying to 1v1 Pureshik, who just flashes away. Yes, he just killed Dudu, but Dudu's already taken down 2 targets. His job is done. And then there's this awkward moment where he's trying to kill someone, but everyone's just waiting for life to get there. Who has the CC and shielding to make sure this is done safely.
And up until this point, it was actually an even trade of kills, which is kind of crazy. I didn't see that Rich and Sponge just kind of limped their way out and were kind of fine. As here's the combo once again, Equalizer to start it off, but it's just an attempt at a guaranteed turret. Rich looking for a little bit of a turnaround play though, as Berserker will get knocked up. Sponge goes in, but immediately he has to run out. They get a decent shield. Pyosik in a bit of trouble, but Teddy has to back away immediately. And the redemption keeps DNF healthy.
You know,
DRX backing away.
We got a natural shockwave there. 3-man from Bulldog. Didn't get the combo. He threw out a big one, which it did a lot of damage, but it also meant Teddy was like, okay, no combo available. I can finally play the game. He tried to step up and immediately lost like 60% of his HP. Starting to really feel not only the gold advantage for DNF, but the limits of playing the short-range Lucian into this composition. DNF managed to get a tower, they get what they want, and feeling more and more confident in this game. 5-0-4 on this Zeri, but also the Orianna damage starting to feel really threatening. And this is a short-range composition for DRX. You step up into the Orianna, you're getting chunked so heavily. It's now a level 16. That shockwave is doing so much damage.
No, it's absolutely absurd. You can see it's gold leads across the board, the largest of which being on these combo makers, Pyosik and Bulldog. I'm still feeling like this one isn't over, especially when there's Otacon, there's Dragon Soul.
Yahoo just stepped up mid lane, and I immediately looked at his inventory, like, you must have a Seekers to walk up like that. Yeah. Yahoo does. So he's going to try and play the bait. We'll see if DNF have pressed tab. Well, this is the test.
They need to convince Pyosik to still press R on him, because I think as soon as they press R on Teddy, the team fight is kind of over.
Yeah.
Especially with how much extra money Pyosik does have. 2.5 items now completed here for the Nocturne as well. So DRX parking themselves in mid, just looking to play defense. They still haven't taken a turret, which is probably why there's such a large gold lead.
It's just so funny how Yahoo's just like walking up, like ult me, ult me, ult me.
Yeah,
and he's like just hiding, like just refusing to show up.
Well, there's a like hex flash in, I think, as the shockwave just going to be used onto Handle alone. The equalizer goes down. That's going to be enough to take down the Nautilus, as now the paranoia sets in. Crescent Guard to come on through there, and there it is. Pyosik does decide to go forward, but there's no shockwave, there's no combo. And yes, they kill Andil, and that is all that is actually going to occur. Felt like it could have been better there for DRX, but DNF still going to make it work.
Considering the deficit in this game, DRX have to be pretty happy. Yes, they lose their support, but they get both summons from Berserker, and DNF aren't in a position to translate this into a Baron. I think all things considered, you know, you keep all your summoner spells, you take some big ones from your opponent. The kill goal from Andal is kind of irrelevant at this point of the game. I think this is it's a very small victory, don't get me wrong, but you'll take it with how delicate the game situation has been. You don't lose anyone major, you don't lose the Baron. Elder's coming up in about a minute and a half.
They also don't lose the arm guard as well. I actually thought that Yahoo might be forced to use that even if Pyosik just goes in without the shockwave.
You've maintained all these significant cooldowns.
Yeah.
And again, losing the summoners for Berserker is relevant. Baron's up, Elder in a minute. These are things you really have to pay attention to when you're looking towards those major objectives this late in the game. And I think DRX kind of got everything they wanted. They're 4,000 gold down. They're in a rough spot, but you know, little victories like that can make all the difference.
With a Baron as well, DRX will make so much money so quickly.
Yeah.
Every single turret is still left up.
I mean, with how long the death timers are at this point of the game, a big fight win could just be the game. But also, you know, Elder's up, Baron's up. Oh, they are just starting this.
Okay, well, that's going to be spotted immediately. DNF a little bit slow on the rotation, though, as we can see. Sponge is going to be backing off. They're looking for a turn. They do not want to flip the game right now. Yeah,
the Redemption's used there for a second bit of vision. You always have to be, I mean, against a Nocturne, it's so hard to willingly commit to that Baron when he can fly in.
Leandri's going to get upgraded there as well.
Wait, Elder's not for 10 seconds. They're just going to maybe rush the Baron and hope to get to Elder in time. This is a risky play.
This is very risky. Maybe they just hopefully... Well, I mean, they're going to trade Elder for Baron is what DRX are opting into here. But they could just get aced. And they're not going to make it to this Elder at all. And so Elder is going to get secured here by DNF. It's traded for the Baron. And Elder is better in a fight, guys.
Yeah, the reason this is really dangerous is because clearly the hope of DRX is that, well, you might have Elder, but without Baron, you can't really push.
Yeah.
But I think you can honestly just dive. With the power of Elder and the Nocturne Ori combo, if you're stepping up too far, you can just dive with the Elder, and I think you can win the fight off the back of that. And the thing is, DRX can't exactly push themselves. If you step up, you will just die. So I think you know, I can understand the reasoning behind the play. You can understand the logic to go for the trade, but I think it's a risky gambit to go for, and we'll just have to see if it pays off. Rich is going to try and step up here, but if anyone squishy does walk up, this could end up backfiring massively.
Yep, and we're going to get a bit of information here as he puts that ward over. It's only going to be working for a limited amount of time.
How far back?
Yeah. He's like, I cannot be on the screen. He cannot see me, otherwise I die. He's got a cute little hammer in his back pocket as well, there, as you can see. And the Hex Drink is still there.
Refusing to be even vaguely on vision, which is 100% the right play, but it's just very funny to see.
It is
basically
odd.
Sitting on the fountain at this point.
Well, DRX now just going to continue putting Rich here, saying, Rich is the target you're allowed to engage on. Maybe dive him. Dive him, DNF. How do you feel about that?
And you know, if it keeps going like this, then it's going to end up working out.
Yeah, the Elder is not going to do anything. However, the Baron is also not going to do anything, and then we're going to have to do this again. That's what I'm seeing here, and I don't... Like, you mentioned already that this composition for DNF stays good, right? This is a Zeri. You get 6 items, you just kind of win by yourself. Orianna scales gloriously, and this composition, you throw Pyoshik in, and everyone kind of melts.
I will say, though, if you felt like you didn't have an angle to fight, and you are down 4,000 gold, as the game goes on, that 4,000 gold deficit isn't going to be as meaningful. So,
yeah,
from that perspective, you know, it makes sense. If you buy an extra 5 minutes, 6 minutes, that 4,000 gold lead may be able to close a little bit by picking up some camps, picking up some farm. Maybe you're able to it just means less as the game goes on. Maybe you felt like the power spike Berserk was so relevant you couldn't contest. So, and now they're actually walking up because the Elder's about to end.
You know what's kind of crazy? Like, I know building a Lord Doms would probably be the best thing here for Teddy as far as damage is concerned. But if he didn't have the Phage or the Hex Drinker and just built like GA Bloodthirster instead, I would be very happy.
Yeah, I think a GA would be super valuable.
GA would be a pretty good item. And then being able to, you know, auto-attack to get yourself back into life would be nice.
The Hex Drink is doing basically nothing for you,
yeah,
to being real. Because especially with how it goes, is usually the combo comes in, Bulldog does a lot of damage to the portion of your health initially. Like, he gets you low, and then it's Pyoshik who finishes you off. So you're not actually taking that much magic damage when you're low. So I feel like it's pretty low value. I honestly expect him to sell that pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm hoping so.
Direction.
Oh, got a bit of a hook to connect onto Dudu. Sponge going to follow up there as well. He has an arm guard, but he elects not to use it because he knew he was dead. And Dudu just overstepping here, caught napping on the bottom side of the map. Nothing to fight for right now. 2 minutes on both of these objectives once again. But still, it might be a turret finally going down for DRX. Look at that, making use of them grubs here at 36 minutes.
Yeah, finally getting some value from them. Able to take the tower. That mid tower is pretty low as well. Could maybe look towards that. And getting some value. Closing that gold lead a little bit. And maybe this was the thought process. You know, if we trade those objectives, we extend the game and we just give more opportunities for DNF to potentially throw.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's a safe bet. You know, the longer the game goes, the more chances there are for DNF to eventually make a mistake. And time has proven that often does happen.
Well, now we've got a Void Staff completed here for Yehu. Let's see what the item choice is for Teddy. It's a Black Cleaver. So they're going double Black Cleaver in this game. Used to be a very popular item on Lucian. Hasn't been as much more recently.
I guess maybe the thought process is, you know, it applies well with the culling, and it's difficult for him to get up close and personal.
Yep. You get health with it as well,
yeah.
Which feels, I guess, nice. But I don't know. The build feels weird.
Does give him that ability haste as well. And as you said, the health. But I think selling the Hex Drinker and getting a GA would make a lot of sense later. Do you have Zhonya's picked up for Bulldog now? Zhonya's in both solo laners. Berserker trying to get that final item completed. Hasn't gone for Pen himself. So Rich, I would say he would feel tanky, but he's pretty low econ right now in comparison.
Yeah.
Approaching that third item. And Berserker now has that GA, so this is Zeri fully online.
It's really weird because Rich and Dudu are both about as low econ as one another. As you can see, there's 100 gold between them here at 38 minutes in the game. And So there is at least 3 items done for Dudu, but this Rumble is not one of the more fed ones that we've seen.
Yeah. Kind of relying a lot on the base damages. Level 16 ult combined with Blood Letters and Leandries is
Oh,
still
it's
going to do
Locket of
damage.
the Silver Solari here as well. Upgraded the metal, I'm pretty sure, as the ornament has been completed. So that's all of them. Just looking for a little bit of an angle here. As DRX this time parking themselves towards the Elder. Vision does come through. There is a hook to connect. Oh my goodness, Dudu this time manages to go golden, but the knockups are going to come through from Rich. He's just standing his ground as Teddy, not even worried. He's flashing forward, and there's the depth charge. DNF falling apart at the seams as Berserker is flashing over, but this time Sponge does not care, and that GA is not going to be guarding anything. And just as the complete opposite of what we saw before, it is only Dudu left alive. It's a flash forward from Yeah, who says not even that will stay there. DRX, I think, just won the game.
And it just feels inevitable when it gets to those late game situations. DNF have their struggles, and DRX find the clutch window to close it out. It's a 5-0 in the late game team fight. They managed to get the picks, they managed to get the cleanup. Berserker on this Fed Zeri can't do anything, and it'll be a 1-0 lead for DRX in this series.
Teddy playing it really, really well towards the end there, but I have to say, Rich loves pressing his ulti button. He managed to find a bit of an angle that time around, was frontlining beautifully, and DRX just pushed forward for the win. But man, that was grueling.
Yeah, and it just feels like, is this going to be every DNF game?